Hey, everybody. Just to clarify, this is not another podcast, and you'll probably find out why by the end of the episode. We have the co founders of DarDoc with us today, and we're going to do things a little differently right now. So, Samir is going to introduce Keswin, and Keswin's going to introduce Samir, and they're not prepared for this. So, over to you guys.
Wow.
Nice. Here's Keswin, which I always call him the nice something. I met Keswin a few years ago. I actually hired him to build the robotic business unit in my previous venture.
No, before we come to that, Samir, didn't you tell us your initial thoughts about Keswin? Like, describe Keswin if you have to describe it to like people who don't know Keswin.
Keswin?
Yikes.
Again, he's the nice. You will cut this, I have to say it. He's the nice asshole. you know? I love his passion about what we are doing. He's very impulsive. He's very fast. He's very decent. He doesn't look decent from outside, and this gives him more strength in his character. But he is from inside, very decent, very kind, and trying always to be fair. I love this, so I depend on him a lot, and I rely on his opinion. And what is really matter for me is I found what I miss in him.
You know.
That's the most important.
Yeah, he comes with all the spending schemes, and you try to save all the money, for, at least from what we have gathered so far.
Yes. So, yeah, that's it.
Keswin, do you want to describe Samir now?
Yeah, I think I'm a first-time founder, and you make rookie mistakes, right? Just
Right.
like this rookie
course.
podcast that we're doing. So being a first-time founder, it comes with a lot of things that you are not aware of. And one of the person in our team clearly described I'm probably going to in terms of going in the direction, let's do things fast, execute fast.
Right.
And Samer goes a little bit more on the careful approach. And that's something I think a very good combination that you need to have. We have, in fact, a huge generation gap, right? I'm a millennial. He's like a boomer. So sometimes it's like I'm talking to my dad about the business, what we're building and so on. But at the same time, I think one of the best quality that someone like Samer does possess is that he always has a listening ear in terms of understanding what you're trying to say. And he would consider what you're saying.
Right.
Unlike most boomers who are like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, right? And that's something very important when you are at the helm of your leadership position. And I think that's what makes Samer unique to me. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so Samir, so coming back to what you actually wanted to speak about is where did you meet Keswin? Because obviously this is a pretty unlikely pair.
Yes.
And if you met him, what made you go like, okay, I can probably do a business, like start a business with him?
Yeah. I remember the first time we met. It was, I think, 2018.
Yeah, June,
June,
July.
2018. He came with another guy, to propose something that Y Formed, which is my previous venture, don't establish a robotic business unit. We were very active in building surgical workplaces in hospitals. We went so advanced on this. And that sounded that time very, very interesting for me. But I had a problem. I did not like the other guy. I had some doubts about it.
This almost sounds like a relationship right now, but okay.
And then this guy was somehow not talking too much, just quick introduction. And then he went up to do presentation about this. I did not focus on his presentation. What was really impressing for me is like his presentation skills.
Right.
So I was just evaluating his skills. I did not really care about anything inside the presentation
Right.
itself. The product, because I had a lot of questions, I had a lot of concerns about this, and I had doubts because of the other person sitting, I thought he's leading everything.
Everything.
Then I discovered actually he's the one who's doing everything on this. And then this is where we started. That time we decided to invest. We hired him and the other guy. And Then the other guy, of course, left.
Oh, so you actually did hire the other guy, end up hiring the other guy.
Yeah, it was a package
only to end up
deal.
firing him.
It was the backing,
Okay, so they came as a
So,
package first. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but what really matter is inside. What
Right.
really matter was Keswin actually that time for me. So, and this is how we started doing such things together. And I was really impressed with his enthusiasm, I would say, his presentation skills, his, I thought he's really a good asset to the
Right.
company, to the team. This is how we started together. And then the relationship, of course, evolved by time, especially when I had to kick out that person who was in between us.
Right.
And I got to know him more. And yeah, this is where we started. Then thinking, he came, he proposed something, how to do something together. I think he will better explain this.
Yeah. So how did that, from that, how did it
Yeah,
come to
yeah.
you guys being co-founders?
Yeah, so we were working very closely, and this was like circa 2020. COVID was wreaking havoc in the
Right.
UAE. Everything was on complete standstill, and I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder.
Okay.
I went to one of the best hospitals in Dubai, met one of the doctors. The doctor said, okay, there's a new biologic injection available in the market, which you can use, Keswin,
Right.
to help you with this autoimmune disorder. I'm like, okay, sounds interesting. When should I come next time for taking the injection? The doctor goes like, oh, you don't need to come here. We will send a nurse to your home. I was like, wow, this is cool.
Nice.
Fancy, right? Because entire 2020, I was used to having Talabat and Kareem come to my home, whether it's for food or for taxi and so on. So I said to the doctor, this is cool. Well, let the nurse come to my home. I was waiting on a one fine evening. I think it was Friday evening for the nurse to come to my home with the injection
Right.
and to give me the medications, right? And super young, I was 25 at that point. At the age of 25, of course, you are super excited for Friday evenings in Dubai, especially, right? You want to go out and you want to hang out with
Absolutely.
your friends. And of course, all the parties were happening in the house. So the nurse eventually came super late. And then the next couple of times as well, she was absolutely late. She was never on time. She
Okay.
worked for one of the biggest home nursing / healthcare provider in the UAE.
Okay.
And she was carrying pen and paper driven notes. She was about to give me a wrong injection at one point. And I'm like,
Wow.
food can come to me on time. The guy who's delivering food to my doorstep uses a mobile app to say like, hey, we delivered the food to your
Right.
home. The cab service that I book in Dubai, that guy uses an app saying like, hey, Keswin, I arrived at your location. But then one of the most expensive industries, right, which is healthcare and which is more human, is completely driven by pen, paper, and WhatsApp. I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
So this struck upon me. I carried this thought for a few weeks without really diving deep in terms of understanding what can be done in this. But then one fine evening, I was like, if everything can come to your home, why not healthcare?
Right.
Especially in an economy like UAE, where people prefer a lot of convenience. But then I also knew like the challenges of doing a startup is going to be super, super huge. And that's where I thought, okay, maybe I should quit my job and pursue this full time, because you cannot carry
So
two
quit
things.
your job, sorry, again, interjecting. Job was again with Samer.
Yeah. I was still working at Formed, and I was like, I cannot do both, my full-time job and a startup together. So I thought I have a good relationship with my direct report, who is Samer, the founder of the business. So perhaps I should share my thought with him, right? And one fine day, I walk up to Samer. I'm like, hey, Samer, I'm planning to like do something around this direction. And his first response is like, Keswin, this sounds music to my ears. Why don't you dig more into this and come back to me next week? I'm like, this is a good boost, at least for the start. All right. And all what Samer said until now is like, this just sounds music to my ears. He has not said like, hey, I would do this with you, or, let's explore this together, or anything of that sort. So I take one more week. I try to understand a little bit more about how healthcare at home in the UAE works, and made like a very crappy looking, PowerPoint with my limited skills. And I met him a week later and we discussed more.
Right.
And at the end of that meeting, it became very evident that we want to do something into technology, into healthcare, into bringing healthcare to home, and we're going to do it together.
Right.
And then the next couple of months where we meeting every day morning, or once in a week, or twice in a week, or thrice in a week, either in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai, in random coffee shops, ordering coffee, working on our budgeting, working on how we can build a startup, working on the market, trying to understand everything and so on. And soon a couple months passed by and I quit my job. And so he did too. It was actually a big shocker to me. He actually quit his previous venture to do DarDoc full time, right? He was like, okay, I cannot carry perhaps two babies together.
babies,
That's
yeah,
the
of
kind of
course.
mindset you have, right? When you build a business. So it's like, I think I should give my full time to DarDoc. And I think by the month of March 2021, Samer also was like fully and completely engaged into building DarDoc with me. Yeah. So that's like the starting point, I would say.
I'm assuming no regrets so far, Samer? No regrets so far?
Yeah, never, of course. We have a mission we have to achieve. So far, it's so exciting, especially facing the unknown.
Right.
This is how I see it, very beautiful and exciting. It's challenging, of course.
Right.
And this is what keeps us going on.
Yeah.
So, but you're a second-time entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that you carried from your first venture to this, which kind of helped you stay sane
Yes.
in your journey as a second-time entrepreneur? That is,
I mean, what I really believe in as an entrepreneur is you have to be ready to take risk.
right?
Without taking risk, nothing will work.
Correct. Absolutely.
Of course, we say it usually a calculated risk, but that's something really very important. So it was a big risk which I did to start something again from the scratch, but I know it's something very exciting. And then the excitement turns into passion.
Right.
And you think about this all the day, all night, while you sleep, you dream about it, everything
Yeah,
you
it takes
relate
over your
to it.
life entirely. Yes.
And then that's also, by time as co-founder, we developed a lot of synergy in the way
Right.
how we think, how we see things in a different way or at the same way. But of course, I learned a lot from my previous mistakes, my previous venture. The first mistake was you have what I don't want to say it's a mistake, is what I really learned. The most important is to select your partner, your co-founder.
Right.
That's something very important. That's why I mentioned earlier, I found things in Keswin that I don't have.
That you lack, yeah.
So this is very important. And to also, you need to, research the market, understand the customer needs, what is really required, and define the problem before you jump into finding solutions.
Solution. Correct.
Sometimes all the solution in the how you define and you discover the problem, the root cause of the problems. This is what really matters.
Right. Because there's so many people just with solutions to problems that don't exist at all, right?
Yeah, you get excited about a solution, then you stop looking at the problem, digging more about it. And then you just rush in, you want to apply your beautiful solution or idea.
Correct. To a
This
problem
is
that
where
doesn't
most
exist.
of people
yeah.
fail most of the time.
Right, right. So what is that moment where you knew, okay, we are onto something and this could become something huge, or this is something that we want to, or something that you just made you believe? I'm sure the first couple of months when you were iterating, you obviously had your doubts, but what was that one moment? If was there at least a one moment where you're like, okay, this is where we are at, we can get more people on board. This is a serious business and we are ready to go.
Yeah, I think that wow moment happened like early on in Q1 of 2022, I would say. We started writing on initially with our product. The app is launched in the market.
Right.
People are using it for COVID-19 testing at home,
Okay.
which of course, we were doing it as a trial and error method to understand how everything works around within the system and so on. But our main focus was always delivering exceptional nursing care at the convenience of the patients, right?
Right.
And we often took opinions from home healthcare providers or nursing providers in the country. And one thing that we probably didn't realize in our early days was that these guys love overcharging patients, right?
Okay.
And it was a phenomenally expensive service, which many people in the country cannot afford, right? Let's say that my child is sick today, and I need to go to work, and I need a nurse to look after the child while I'm going out for work. you'll have to shell out probably like 1,000 dirhams for
Absolutely,
that. And
correct.
that was ridiculously expensive, right? And at the same time, the nurses who are coming to your home are not getting paid that much either. So we did some sort of bottom size, price modeling and understanding of the market. And that's when we came to understand that we can deliver nursing care at home to patients at a much more affordable price. And we started off with a movement in Q1 2022 called as get a nurse for as low as 29 dirhams per hour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I still remember even people in our team went bonkers. They were like, how can you do this, right?
Yeah,
If
it's
you wanna-
unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to book like, let's say, a part-time cleaner on a mobile app like Kareem or Urban Company, it's still going to cost you like 35, 40 dirhams per hour.
100%,
And how are you guys doing this at 29 dirhams per hour? Somehow we had that crack at our price modeling and we launched it. And that's when we started seeing like mothers, especially in the country, who are going through postpartum or going through pregnancy or are resuming back at work after their postpartum period, started flowing into the website,
Ecosystem,
started
right.
flowing into the mobile application, and our service craze among the consumers started picking up across Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And I think that was the biggest wow moment for us.
I think that's what changed the game entirely for you guys.
Correct. Yeah. That's when I think we realized like, we are onto something, or we have finally understood the problem statement, which of course is not only having technology in place, but also having something that, people can afford.
Correct.
And position it at the right pricing as well.
Right.
Yeah. And
Right.
I think that led on to having more products and services later on for us. Yeah.
So is it safe to say that when DarDoc came around, it kind of just revolutionized baby care in the country because it offered services which were, again, just open to a larger community which couldn't afford it otherwise?
Absolutely. It was limited to only top 1% of the geography. And since we launched this transparent pricing model, right, across the website, across the app saying, this is the pricing, right? You can check it out anytime, 24x7. I slowly started seeing a lot of home healthcare nursing providers started putting and reflecting it on their Facebook ads and websites that, hey, now our nurse is available for like 35 dirhams per hour,
Right.
40 dirhams per hour. They also started becoming more transparent. So before DarDoc, ideally the market was like, if I have a lot of nurses available in my office who are sitting idle, I'm going to give it to you for low price.
For low
If I'm
price,
running high on occupancy, then probably I'm going to spike up the price to, kind of squeeze you as much as you
Right.
can. And I think that's one major revolution that we did in this sector for sure. Yeah.
So the transparency of pricing was major issue.
Right.
We used to think at the beginning about the price itself, but the problem behind it is actually transparency.
Correct.
Why you offer this price, not this price?
Not this price, right?
So, and this is what we explain to our providers, our partners, that we cannot play with the prices. We have always to implement a transparent strategy, when it comes to prices. So people, they know exactly how much they are paying.
Right. So there are no like hidden terms and conditions, no hidden
Exactly.
costs at all.
Yeah, the other factor is really to standardize the service, the scope of service, what's included, what's possible, what is
Right.
not possible.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's no scope of ambiguity, right? People know how much they're paying and they know exactly what they're paying for and probably how much the nurse is going to get out of this and how much she derives,
Exactly.
the value that she's going to
Correct,
derive out of it.
Yes.
Nice. And so on the other end of the spectrum, this was the moment that kind of built DarDoc. Were there moments in these past 4-5 years where, you were like, we might need to shut shop? Because I'm sure it's a startup, right? There are multiple ups and downs. So maybe a moment each where you guys felt, and you didn't probably tell one another because you were just scared. And you're like, maybe I have to look for another job or maybe I have to start something else.
I think it happened to me somehow. I was thinking about it just before what Keswin explained. Just that was December, January 2022.
At idea stage.
Yeah,
We were in
at
idea
idea
stage at
stage.
that time.
We were just exiting from COVID.
Right.
We did our testing using the demand for COVID tests.
Right.
And then we were building the home nursing. And then we are about to launch it. And then the pricing model was there something wrong. We
right.
tried for a couple of months, I believe, till February.
Yeah.
It didn't work. At that, we start to doubt, what are we doing? But it never came to my mind, let's shut it down.
Let's shut it down.
It would have been so easy to say this at
Correct.
that early stage, Still, we lost little money, small experiments. let's shake hand and go find something
Else, right?
But no, I did not reach that. I never,
Where you're like, okay, this is not going to work. You were never
Yeah.
in that frame of mind.
yeah, I never give up. I don't remember any time I give up when it's, I can maybe find a nice, good exit,
Right.
but not to really just give up.
Nice. Yeah. Keswin, you? What about you?
I think it's probably because of my age factor. I have an excessive rush of dopamine when I'm doing DarDoc
Right.
or building anything around it. So I think there are, of course, highs and lows while you're building a startup. But then one of my character trait is that every time shit hits the wall or every time there's a low moment coming through, I get more aggressive.
Right.
Like I still remember once an investor said no to us, right? In terms of investing in DarDoc, I went more aggressive because the investor said like your acquisition cost is not reasonable,
Right.
Since then, for the next 12 months, we did not increase 1 dirham in terms of our acquisition cost or
right.
performance marketing cost, right? But we doubled our revenue. So I think all these moments define you as a character and also helps you in like getting more stronger towards what you're building.
Correct.
So there are of course low moments where you are like low on energy, where you're like
course.
low on your mood and so on. But then I kind of use it as like a negative affirmation to kind of change it into a positive affirmation
yeah.
to build more stronger, more better, to kind of prove people who kind of said to you like, you were wrong at this point. Yeah.
Nice. So, which brings me to the next question is, I'm sure you guys have met multiple VC folks, and they are pretty infamous for a lot of their assholery. So, has there been moments where you were just like, well, all you could say in your head is "shut up," but you couldn't, but they were just not making sense with their expectations, with the kind of questions they were asking, or just overall attitude for that matter?
Yeah, it happened many times.
Yeah.
Of course, I couldn't say shut up, but I used to go to the silent mode. He knows that I'm about to say
Say
shut up.
shut up.
So I just stopped talking. Then he
And then
talks
Keswin
faster
takes
than
over.
me. Let's finish.
Let's wrap it up, yeah.
Especially when you meet people like they have a list. I mean, maybe I am so sensitive to this in my age experience.
Right.
You send me a kid with a list of asking me a list of
Questions, right.
dumb questions that already were all explained in our pitch deck.
Presentation, right.
And then you discover that he was not listening. He just waiting for you to finish. So he asked the questions, do the check marks,
marks, yeah.
and go back reports to. So that time we both decided, we don't waste our time with,
Fundraising.
fundraising with this way, Let them, if they are interested one day, they will come to
Correct.
us. Let's focus on what we are doing,
Or the focus would be to get them to come to you guys instead of going to
Exactly.
them. Right. Nice. So, okay. So, which brings us to a final question about DarDoc. What does probably the next 2 years look like? What are we building? What are the new launches? Just 2 years later, 2026 DarDoc,
Yeah.
how does it look like?
So as of today, we offer a slew of services, right?
Right.
Ranging from home nursing services, caregiver on demand. You can get blood test on demand, and as well as wellness services, which includes vitamin IV drips and so on. Over the last few months, we slightly started moving our direction also in terms of implementing programs. That's what we call it internally,
Right.
which is to tackle lifestyle disorders or chronic diseases. So we started off with weight loss. Now
Right.
we're working on something exclusive for men, which is the testosterone replacement therapy.
Okay.
And over the course of the next few quarters and couple of years, we want to start working on PCOS, type 2 diabetes, hypertension management, and as well as anti-aging and longevity, right? Help people live longer, live fuller, live
Right.
better. So that's the direction that we want to take in terms of other services. Eventually, over the next 2 years, what as co-founders we want to see is that DarDoc becomes your one-stop solution to get
Right.
all sort of primary care delivered right to your home. We don't want you to get sick
Right.
so that you eventually need DarDoc,
Right.
but we want you to use DarDoc so that you don't fall sick,
Right. Correct.
such in a way like you had to go to a clinic or a hospital. So we're building a slew of services that's coming up. I want to keep some things as a surprise element right now, but of course we are building some key elements that would be super, super interesting for consumers and patients alike in the UAE.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a special interest in longevity. Maybe that's why I'm getting old, so my interest increasing in this. So yeah, we are somehow in the preparation phase right now,
Right.
reading, understanding, researching, and so on. But we always have special interest in a product. Like when we wanted to launch the TRT a couple of months ago, I was all the time trying to learn more and more about it. You know, I like always to try all our services
Right.
except the newborn baby care.
You can still have a kid after the TRT.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's what we have from the founders today. Thank you so much for watching.